Welcome to this week's Friday Night Lights Dundalk preview. I'm joined by Shane Foley and Gavin Lynch, two specialists in the Dundalk realm. I suppose it's a good card tomorrow night, typically competitive Dundalk card with the Mercury listed stakes to enhance the quality a little bit. But as much as anything in recent weeks at Dundalk, we've had the running battle of Pat Smullen and Colin Keane in the countdown to the championship. Lads, I'd be interested to get your take on it just before we go into the card. I mean, Colin had a great weekend last weekend. He outscored Pat by 4 and he's now 7 clear. You're looking at tomorrow night maybe as a kind of big night in a way, because if he were to shade it tomorrow night and go another 1 or 2 clear, then all of a sudden he's got a kind of unassailable sort of lead. What's your take on it, Shane?
Yeah, tomorrow night could be the nail in the coffin, but Pat has some good rides. Pat got a day suspension last week, so he's going to miss Saturday week as well, which all that helps Colin, you know what I mean? And like I said, he's 7 clear and he's definitely going to take a bit of pegging back. I don't think Pat's horse runs in Ascot now on Saturday, so he's going to be in Fairy House. So
okay, yeah,
he'll not lie down without fighting him.
Yeah, there's 9 meetings left, so that gives him eight meetings as opposed to 7, because he thought he'd be going to Ascot. Yeah, what's your take on it, Gavin? Would you ever get involved in those sort of jockey markets at all, or do they appeal to you?
And not usually. I don't follow them too close. But I think, for example, 2 weeks ago, Pat had 4 winners at Dundalk. So Dundalk's had a big part to play over the last couple of weeks, and there's been some great finishes between the two lads. But it looks too big of a lead with 7 at the moment. What, 9 meetings left? Yeah,
9 left. And interesting, the finale that night, they served up a cracker, the two of them, after he rode 4 winners. And the 2 of those horses are on duty again tomorrow night, Bold Night and Thunder Crash. So that'll be an interesting finale again. I suppose the highlight of the card is the listed race, the sprint. We've got Take Cover over from England. He won the race 2 years ago. Have you a take on the race, Gavin?
It's interesting to see a veteran taking on a 2-year-old. Take Cover, as he said, is 10. He's drawn 1. He'll try and bounce out and make all. He's won his last 2, and it'd be interesting to see what Shane thinks about 2-year-olds against the older horses. Declaration of Peace is getting £21. It's drawn 11. Wayne Lorden takes the ride, so it's a fascinating race.
Yeah, 3 2-year-olds is highly unusual in a list race, isn't it?
Yeah, I rode a 2-year-old in this a couple of years ago for Jura actually, and it actually ran quite well, ran above itself really, but just couldn't hack with the early pace really. Like it's big eye opener for a 2-year-old now. Take Cover and them kind of horses, they're very fast, and a 2-year-old will be taken off his feet tomorrow night. They'd have to be very, very special to be getting involved tomorrow.
Yeah, I suppose the thinking is at this stage of the year they're getting towards being 3-year-olds, if you like, and they might have some chance of exploiting that sort of weight.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Declaration of Peace, I think he's a high class animal. He travelled around in a conditions race very easy, but it'll be a big step up for him tomorrow night.
You're on confrontational for John Murphy, I suppose, on ratings. He's got a little bit to find.
Yeah, on ratings he's a bit to find, but he's a nice horse. He's only had 1 or 2 runs this year. John's just got held up a bit with him for what reason I don't know, but no, look, he ran up here. He likes the surface, but he'll have to improve an awful lot to figure.
And Artumi is another one in there for Ger Lyons, and Colin Keane obviously loves 5 furlongs. That'll suit him, won't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He loves Dundalk, loves quick ground. 5 furlongs, they couldn't go quick enough for him. It's just drawn 12 is not ideal, as we said. Declaration of Peace drawn 11. So it's going to be tricky for them to get over. It's such an advantage for Take Cover drawn 1, so it's hard to see perhaps Take Cover getting beat.
Okay. In the maiden that follows it, actually, Shane, you might have a bit of insight into Massive Central. Obviously, possibly a short price favourite here, and you would have ridden him before for Mick Halford. You were also riding Perfect Tapatino in it, of course, for Damien English. What's your take on those two?
Yeah, look, Massive Central had a real good run at the Curragh last time. It was in a Group 3 over 1.25 miles. I bounced out that day, made the running, and look, only Pat got by me, and that filly went on and franked the form again.
She won a Group 2, Shamarine, wasn't it?
Yeah, and on ratings, look, he should take all the beating, but look, you never know. He's still a maiden after, I think it's 8 or 9 starts, so look, he could take a bit of beating tomorrow, should take beating, but you never know.
Well, have you a view on that one, Gavin?
It looks the bet of the night if you can trust a horse rated 100. 100 would obviously win almost every maiden at Dundalk, but Shane must be some man to get the horse placed in a group race, you know, because up to that it hadn't shown anything like that. It was rated mid-80s, so. Yeah. But it looks the one if it can handle the step down and trip and the quicker ground. It got beat in the maiden last year, 13-8 favourite in a similar race, so it's hard to fully trust it. But if Shane thinks
it should win, but I don't think he'd be lamping in at a short
not
price.
A horse should be taking
no, exactly. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if he does win, and he should win, but he's not an out-and-out banker, I don't think.
Would the trip worry you?
He's not a slow horse, but I think he's a 1.25 mile horse myself. But against that grade, he should be okay, you know.
Yeah.
And just if we go to the finale after that, as I said, the last 2 weeks ago, it provided a great climax to the card after Pat Smullen had ridden 4 winners, and Colin Keane managed to edge him out on Thunder Crash. I think Pat's Mount Bold Knight is a couple of pounds better off tomorrow. Do you see them being involved, Shane? I mean, they're stepping up in grade a little bit, probably, aren't they?
They're stepping up in class again. But I liked Colin's horse the last day. I think Pat had every chance to go by, and he just was a bit reluctant. I don't know if he's the most genuine, whereas Colin's horse looked like he wanted it more. And even though he has to concede a couple of pounds tomorrow, I think he's the more genuine horse, and that could show tomorrow night.
Pat's horse came there, didn't he?
He did,
and
like,
he just didn't quite go through with
I think
it.
they could have waited around again. He wouldn't have went by him, if you know what I mean. He's a bit of a monkey, I'd say.
Have you take on it, Gavin?
I thought maybe my direction was worth something. It won a similar graded race 3 weeks ago. Oisin Orr's up again. It's only gone up £3, although Oisin can only claim 3 instead of 5, so it's kind of like it's gone up £5. But even at that, it's difficult for horses stepping up in grade like Bold Knight that you mentioned at Thunder Crash. So my direction would be the one I'd go for.
Okay. And just coming back earlier on the card, we'll maybe give the claimer a miss unless you have something to offer on that. Anyone?
Claimer's a claimer, they're there for a reason.
6 Silver Lane will run its race, but
Okay.
it'll be in the first 3. You'd imagine it may or may not win.
Reckless Lad on ratings should win, but that, like you said.
So you do have something to offer on the claimer afterwards. But we move on to the nursery. Jim Bulger's got Skull Nashunta in here, won well the last day, went up £13, I think. Sets a fair old standard in this.
Got a big hike for it. I'm going to side with Gordon Elliott for you. I think she had a good run the last day behind one of Michael O'Callaghan's that was well fancied, and if that can step forward, Declan McDonough from draw 1 could take a bit of beating.
Gavin?
I'd be happy to take on Skull Nashunta. It seemed to relish the mile, it seemed to relish soft ground the last day in Dundalk. It's 7 furlongs quicker ground and it's drawn 10, so I could see that getting outpaced early on and trading much bigger in running, and I definitely would go for Smiling Eliza as well. Okay,
2 votes for that one. So, and in the following 7 furlong handicap, one of the better races apart from the listed race on the card, Lightning Fast, the horse of Gerald Lyons. It probably wants Lightning Fast ground, I'd say, but bombed a bit in slow ground at Galway the last time. Geological is in there, and Cenotaph, a horse of Aidan O'Brien's. He's the kind of horse you're looking at thinking there's going to be a day in him at some stage. What's your view on that one, Gavin?
I'd be Cenotaph, perhaps worth something small each way. He won a maiden a year ago very impressively. Since then, he's ran on soft ground, 6 furlongs, 5 furlongs. He ran a lovely race one day in the Cur over 7, a good ground ridden by Anna. Tomorrow he's got Dundalk back at Dundalk over 7. He might have an each way chance.
He's owned by Mr. Tabor's wife, I think, as well. So I mean, they're not keeping him in training for nothing. They'll find some way to get a result out of him, won't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Shane?
Yeah, this is a very competitive handicap. It's probably the second best race on the night, but I ride a horse in this that I didn't get the best of runs on him the last day. I was drawing out one of Johnny Murtagh's horse, Time to Reason. That was over 6 furlongs, and he's drawn 1 tomorrow, stepping up to 7. Johnny Stringer in great order. He could run a massive race at a big price, and I think there's plenty of pace in the race, which will suit.
Okay. Now you've a great record at Dundalk, as we all know, one of the leading riders there over the last number of years. You've 6 tomorrow night. If I was to make a stab at it, I'd say maybe Blues Breaker in the second division of the other handicap might be one of your better rides. Would that be fair?
Yeah, he's been running well. He could run well. Yeah, he's probably one of my best rides, and even I think that Time to Reason could run well. Even though it's a very competitive race, he could run well.
Okay. Any other view on that division or the earlier one, I should say?
There was the second division of the handicap, Compatriot. I rode him the last day. Just got nutted on the line. He's dropping back to 7. Could
John
take
Murphy.
a bit of beating. John Murphy's horse. Colin Keane
Colin
rides him
Keane,
tomorrow. Just with being with the championship and everything, so I wasn't going to say much. So he could nearly win, you know.
Okay, so if he gets beat by 1,
Yeah.
you couldn't do any more anyway.
Yeah.
Fair play. What about those 2 divisions, Gavin? Have you a view on them?
The second division, I wouldn't think much about it, but Boxer Dunford might be good enough to win the first division. It's stepping down from 8 to 7 furlongs, but it ran well over 6 in Laytown, so with £5 more, up to 54, Boxer Dunford may be in the first division.
Okay. So all that's left maybe at this stage is to get a couple of naps from the lads. Shane, what would be your banker on the card tomorrow?
Oh, I'm not sure if there is a banker, but I do fancy Boxer Dunford, and them races can be quite tricky, but I'm going to go with Thunder Crush in the last to step up again for Colin and Jared. They're stringing it in fantastic form.
Okay. Gavin, nap it.
The 3 I liked on the card was Smiling Eliza each way, Boxer Dunford and Massive Central, hopefully to have enough in hand.
Nap?
Massive
That's
Central.
3.
Massive Central.
Massive Central.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. I'll go for Ardhumi in the listed race. So join us again next week.